months, he was fine, flying to Hong Kong, flying back. That's when he was picked up. And then suddenly, he doesn't remember anything. This person was running for mayor.
All the things that he is accused of doing, he did all those when his mind was 100% okay. It's the victims of his policies that needs more awa, that needs more attention right now, right? Hi, good morning friends. This is Caloy Conde again sa isa na namang episode ng Open Talk. Um, Today, I'm so happy that I'm joined again by a person who is turning out to be one of my favorite guests already. Nuelle Duterte is joining us from New York. We are going to be talking about something na medyo controversial, I suppose, but that is close to, I wouldn't say close to our heart, but something that we follow very, very closely. I mean, more so si Nuelle, because Nuelle, as you know, she's a psychiatrist by profession, but also she is I would say, estranged niece of the former president Rodrigo Duterte. Is estranged a good way to describe what?
Yeah, that's a good way. That's a good word.
That's a good one. Hi, Noel. So thank you again, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. Let's get right to it. I mean, the last time we spoke on this podcast, Noel, we sort of like, I don't want to say we psychoanalyzed your
Mhm.
uncle. But we did talk about some of his, the psychology
Behavior.
behind what he was doing and all of that. And now, the reason why I wanted to talk to you is because mo ni.
Mhm.
Sorry, Bisaya ko.
Yeah.
Because the issue about his mental health came up because Nicholas Kaufman, his lawyer, said told
Mhm.
ICC, that the pretrial chamber, that Mr. Duterte is not fit to stand trial because of some mental or cognitive issues.
Mhm.
So some facts are clear at this point. It's only Nicholas Kaufman's word so far. They have not produced, I think, they have not produced any kind of third party independent document that would assess Mr. Duterte's actual state of mind right now, or mental health. So this all this is all from his camp, from his defense lawyer. So that necessarily, I mean, without question, that raises a lot of eyebrows because what is this? So I'd like to ask you, you being a psychiatrist yourself by profession and having followed this issue perhaps more closely than most of us, in more ways than one. What's your initial take on that decision?
I thought that just him saying it without producing any medical certificate, medical evaluation was jumping the gun. Like he's already making a claim without, as lawyers are wont to, without facts to back up his statement. So that was really suspicious. Like, is he trying to, hindi naman gaslight, but set the tone ahead of time? May cognitive impairment na to. So people already have this idea in their head and they will have this expectation na, baka kaya he was doing all this, saying all this, remember the midnight rants, etc.
Hmm.
The other thing is that he did not display so much of that cognitive impairment just less than a year ago. So also made my eyebrow go up kasi I mean if you're going to have dementia, it's not a fast process. It's a pretty slow process. You'll see signs, lots of signs ahead of time. Um, and people will recognize those signs and will obviously be very attuned to it, especially his children.
Mhm.
And then the last thing is that his children have not been saying anything of the kind. They have been visiting their father frequently. The frequency actually is very interesting to me because when they all lived in Davao, I don't think they saw each other that much. Um, I don't know if you remember, but when Digong was president, something Sarah said a long, long time ago, that they didn't really talk.
Just once a
Like
year lang
she,
yata nakikita. I think that's what she
oh
said.
yeah, like they did not really talk about,
Mm.
they didn't see each other that often. So it makes it so interesting that she's like there every month or every other month, since he's been at the Hague,
And
and they
also,
never.
yeah, and also I think there was a report that Kitty Duterte, the daughter, posted something days before that says she had just seen her father and he seemed okay. So there was
Mhm,
this contradictory facts, whatever. Let me ask you though. You pointed out a very important tawag dito, aspect of dementia, that this is not something that just like that happened. I mean, my mother had that as well, and the how do you call that? The stages of it, where it manifests certain things, small manifestations. I mean, it took quite a while. Uh, and then you take into account the fact that just in March, when he was arrested, Mr. Duterte was facing media and just
mhm,
saying things that at first glance seem to be very, very coherent. Is
mhm.
that how does that strike you?
So yeah, that's the interesting part. Like just several months ago, I guess it's more than a few months, he was fine, flying to Hong Kong, flying back. That's when he was picked up. And then suddenly he doesn't remember anything, or he doesn't remember his children's names.
Hmm.
He's not able to understand the charges against him. When he was picked up in March, he understood it perfectly
Yeah,
and was
yeah.
trying to not, go with it. He was trying to stall. Everybody was trying to stall.
So there is a basis to the speculation that this is all part of legal strategy.
Yes, I think so. I think that is part of legal strategy.
So in that case, then I think it bears pointing out what this former president had done in the past in terms of showing his, mental health or even acuity when he was
Mhm.
president and even before that. As I posted on my on Facebook, and even I think I did a reel on this one, saying basically nga, that this is a person who is so sure of himself, who was so mayabang, so arrogant in his rhetoric, but very, very clear minded about what he wanted to happen. But more importantly, a very tempered. So
Mm.
he was, I pointed out the fact that during the House investigation, where he nearly launched at Senator Trillanes because he said Trillanes said something that he didn't like. So my my view then was that if this guy is going to be put on trial and and the prosecutors would like uh, interrogate him so bad, he'd probably break and incriminate himself. Do you agree with that?
I think so. I think the foreign surroundings might make him a little more circumspect, though. He probably wouldn't be as aggressive as he was at that time, because it's his this is his country. He's very comfortable in those surroundings. But since he'll be in foreign surroundings, he'll probably be a little bit less quick to the trigger. But if you present the right witnesses in front of him, that may bring out the
Yeah.
aggression.
Yeah, and also speaking of right witnesses, I mean the ICC does have reportedly, witnesses who might be very very damning in terms of their testimony. So that might trigger Mr. Duterte quite a lot, quite
Yes.
quite a bit. You know, one of the things I want to talk to you about, Noel, is this: by invoking cognitive impairment, as you call it, doesn't his lawyer run the risk of stigmatizing mental health,
Yes.
generally and particularly in the Philippines? What's your take on that one?
Yeah, I think he does, especially if he's going to attribute um, Digong's words, previous words anyway, to all the ramblings of someone who has dementia or a cognitive impairment, and also think this person was running for mayor.
Mm-hmm. Oh
back
yeah.
in 2025. So yeah, it could definitely stigmatize that. It could also kind of put a very bad light, like on people who would have dementia, and it's a very common illness, unfortunately, and it affects a lot of people. So I don't think it's the smartest strategy, but probably having spoken to his client, it may have been the quick, easiest
Or it's
strategy.
or it's a sign of desperation.
Yeah, yeah, the easiest, the quickest. Like he
Yeah.
can't talk because he's not well.
Because also the evidence and the testimony, the impending testimony, are so, I think, damning.
Mm,
But also, I think, in terms of this case going to trial, obviously, the only way, one of the ways that this can be dispelled or verified, is to have somebody, to have a professional, independent professional,
yes,
um,
evaluate him.
see, assess Mr. Duterte. I mean, what if, however, what if he turns out to have some signs now? What if, they were like 5 months before he seemed okay, but then ever since he got into the detention facility in The Hague, that's where the onset of
Mhm.
the problem occurred. I mean, that is possible, right?
It could very, very well happen because they're new surroundings, different environment. There's nothing that he's familiar with. So yes, it's actually quite possible for some signs of confusion to present themselves. Um, if that is the case, um, really what you want to look for if someone is capable of standing trial or being able to participate is just basic understanding of, what is this trial about? What are the
Yeah.
charges going to be about? What is your answer to the charges? Do you understand that I am the lawyer representing you? Do you understand that these are the um, arguments against you at this time? And can I proceed with these arguments for you? So I think even if there was confusion about, small things, which usually occurs in early stages of cognitive impairment, I think he might be able to understand that still.
Hmm. That's a good point because I think, if I'm not mistaken, some other old cases in the ICC have established that, for one, you don't have to be a lawyer to defend yourself.
Yeah.
That's why you have a lawyer. So even if you have some issues with your cognitive abilities, as long as the basic facts of the case is laid out, then you should be able to stand trial. And also, another point I'd like to make is that because this is an easy leap among his supporters, probably, I'm guessing here, that, oh, so all those things that he did before, he did all those because he had some issues with his head. That's probably a narrative that you might see. The whole uh, not guilty by reason of insanity thing. And that's a leap of, obviously, that's a kind of a, but
Yeah.
given how fanatic and really often deranged his supporters can be, that is a possibility. So I think it bears pointing out that all the things that he is accused of doing, he did all those when his mind was 100% okay. And he should answer for those. And also, I argued that just because you grew old does not absolve you of your accountability for past sins. You have to you have to
Yes.
to
You
answer to
have to
people
pay the consequences.
the consequence. Finally, Noel, as a psychiatrist, what's your advice to Filipinos who may be experiencing some of the symptoms of cognitive impairment? As you know, mental health services in this country is quite so poor. A lot of Filipinos, and I've seen this myself, a lot of Filipinos don't have access
Mhm.
to the necessary services, but also identifying symptoms is quite
Mhm.
hard and often easy to dismiss,
Mhm.
especially in the setting na in a poor rural setting, it's easy to dismiss that. What's your? I know it's a kind of a weird thing to ask you at this point to advise people on what to do or what to look out for something like this.
I would say pay attention mostly because I think what happens when people get older is that the people that are younger around them don't really pay attention as much to them anymore. So uh, a lot of older people say that we're not seen anymore. Nobody sees us.
Mhm.
And that's true. That's actually true. Um, so hopefully they have their, families, friends that, you know, still interact with them, but just to pay attention. Sometimes it's not just, ulyanin na kasi, ay tumatanda na kasi.
Mhm.
Depends din. Kasi if, for example, it's early type of dementia, like it can start as early as your 50s, early 60s. Yeah, I've seen pretty severe dementia in the early 60s. So just pay attention because a lot of that kind of gets lost. And then by the time that people recognize it, it's like, wala na. It's like kailangan na nila ng 24-hour care. You know.
Mhm. Yeah, that's sad. I mean, to be honest, I'm quite well, sad might be the word, to be discussing this with you, being having relations with him, and you don't generally as Filipinos or human being. We're not supposed to be gleeful or happy about the misery of others. But this is obviously the case of Mr. Duterte, obviously, is different because he needs to account for the things that his regime and he himself did. He needs to be taken to account for that. And really, in the end, and I know you agree with me on this, it's the victims of his policies that needs more that needs more attention right now, right? I mean, hardly ever hardly any discussion is ever made about the thousands of victims, the mothers, the daughters,
Sons, yeah, the
the
relatives.
sons. Yeah, parang okay, where are they in all of this? Uh, that's just that's that's what make it a little sad. Thank you, Noel, so much for this quick uh, intrusion into your weekend. Noel Duterte po,
Thank you very
psychiatrist by
much.
profession and estranged niece of the former President Rodrigo Duterte. Always happy to have you. Thank you.
Thank you.